In this video, I want to talk about debugging and our little friend, the console. I'm going to talk about ways you can actually print text on the console itself. So this should be really helpful, I think. So first things first, I'm sure you know of console.log. So that's simple enough. If you type in console.log and run this, you'll notice that we get test here and the place where it's called. That's from DevTools itself. Okay, fair enough. Now, did you know that there are 4 other logging functions that help you make a distinction between the importance of each of the message? Well, let's check this out. First is the console.info, and that's as simple as console.log. Is just that it has a certain level of importance. It's just an info. All right. Then we have console.warn. So if I say console.warn here, you'll notice that we get a warning, a little exclamation mark, and it became yellow. And also we get a stack trace, which is really nice. Next up is console.error, which, what do you know? It prints out as if we got an error from something, right? So here we get an X, a red X, and the same thing as with warn, we get a stack trace, which is absolutely amazing. So both of warn and error, I think you should be able to use them on production servers. These are really useful messages, maybe not for the users of your application, but for the developers, so they know, okay, well, this went completely wrong, right? If used sparsely, don't use it too much, as it's going to clog down the console itself. Next up, we have console.debug. So if I type in console.debug and test here, oh, you'll notice that we don't get anything on the console. Well, what do you know? DevTools actually tells the console to not display any debug messages because they are going to go on the verbose level. So if I enable here the verbose level, you'll notice that we get the test message that I've printed on the screen, right? Now, if you don't like any of the styles that I've presented to you and you want something more custom, you can actually do something really fancy and add your own CSS to the message itself. To do this, you can use any function. So I can say console.log, and in here we're going to type in test, but prefix it with %c. Now, after we prefix it, we have to give console.log another parameter, and that's going to be inside the quotes. Here we're going to give it a style rule. So here I can say, for example, background color has the value red, right? And let's say also the color itself is going to be something like gray. And if I run this, you'll notice that I get test with the background color red and the color itself gray, which is really nice. So you can basically customize this as much as you want. You can even add drop shadows, which gets kind of funny at one point. Another really useful feature, if you're gonna time something inside your application, is console.time, and that's actually in the standard definition of the console object. So you can do console.time and then type in at one point console.timeEnd. And it's just going to display the time difference from executing time and time end, right? Simple enough. You might need this at some point, and it's already implemented there, so you can already use it, which is amazing. Another important feature is, I think, printing out objects on the console itself. To do this, what you have to do is, well, let's first define an object so we can see something. So let's say name is test, and I don't know, age is 155. All right, and if I type in O, you'll notice that we get the arrow here, so we can expand it and see what's going on inside of the object itself. Technically, there's also the standard for console.dir of whatever object you want to print, and it's going to do almost the same thing, just that you don't get the preview of it. So you still can click on it and you can see what value it has. A similar feature is console.table. if I try to print out O like this, you'll notice that we get a table with, well, our index or our properties on the left and values on the right, which is really nice, because sometimes I might be lazy to grab the mouse and start fiddling around clicking on little arrows. What you can do, you can simply say console.table of whatever variable, and you might be able to find what you need here if the object is small enough. I think it has a limit on how many rows it can display, and at that point you might need to use the mouse. And that's about it with the console object. There are some features that I've left out because they are a bit too niche to be used, but you can go ahead and type in console.log MDN. The MDN documentation is great for this, and check out all the definitions for each function that console has. There's some really useful stuff there, especially if you print a lot on the console, which is usually not recommended, but there are some cases. It's going to be useful, and it's going to allow your console to look more organized, right? So that's about it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and talk to you next time. Bye.